everything you just said. Let's do that again. Wait, just go. You gotta come.
Do the
whole walk in, and action.
I feel like I've been at a Pearl Jam show.
As you have, sit there.
This is me.
Yeah. Nutter drinks iced coffee all the time. No exceptions.
No exceptions. But I've decoded it in a hot coffee cup accordingly. Wonderful.
Man, this is a very intimate angle here. I like this.
Looks wonderful. Wow. Breakfast at the Nutters. This is the behind the...
This is the first sip of coffee. This is the legitimate first sip of coffee on day I'm leaving from Boston after quite the epic adventure.
It has been an epic adventure. I don't know how many details we want to share with anybody watching. Probably none, perhaps. But
yeah, well, they'll leak.
Wonderful weekend. If anybody is watching at some point, your subscribers, pleasure meeting you. So funny how this worked out. We don't need to share how that unfolded, but it was...
Because you already know.
Because I know, and he knows. And he's at my house, and I met him on the internet, and it's awesome. We've had a great time, and the family has loved you, and the kids have loved you.
And thank you for having me. 3 days is a lot.
Most importantly, the wife has loved you, and which means she still loves me for now. So this has been wonderful. And,
Excellent.
And like all good things, sad to see it come to an end. But
it'll happen.
But it must.
Yeah.
And it will happen again.
That's it.
Yeah, I really don't feel well. I don't feel regular.
This is like raw.
Yeah.
This is the day after Pearl Jam.
You may edit what you will.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
But yes, it was a great show. My neck hurts even from.
We were up late. We weren't drinking way too much. Just to be very.
Yeah,
clear.
we didn't
go to bed till 1 or 2.
It's a young man's thing. But yeah, staying up into the next morning is
just as bad as drinking too much.
It's yeah, but well worth it. I right now have tickets for Tuesday's show, and that's going to be what happens again.
Well, did you see the text I just sent?
I did. I saw that set list.
So they were going to play Better Man, but they had to cut due to curfew. No doubt.
That's the Fenway Park thing. The curfew is rather tight.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a bit of a delay coming on stage, and maybe they had to truncate what they had to, or cut out what they must have.
Most people aren't Pearl Jam. They don't play for like 4 hours if they want.
Correct.
They play for like an hour and 20.
I was tired standing the whole time, so I give a band like that all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
I want to make sure these are visible to any future endorsement you may receive. may I explain the
yes,
my last name is Nutter, N-U-T-T-E-R. No relation to the cookie, not $1 in my pocket. I just think they're great cookies, and Ryan was kind enough to bring some treats for the family. So we've been enjoying them, and we shall continue to do so.
All right, so David's prepared some questions. We've been meaning to do this for a couple days, but I think this is the perfect time.
I have, and in disclosure, I spilled coffee on it on the walk out here, but I think I still can make heads or tails out of.
It was a long walk.
What I was asking, and for those following, I will admit I'm a bit of, I guess a hack, or maybe just above a hack. So a lot of my questions, if they're rudimentary, I hope maybe they have some value, or if anything, maybe they're interesting to think of, like what I think as a guy that's kind of hacked around for some years. So I guess, if I may, a question for you. You're such a Stone guy, obviously. Any thoughts, or like what made you get excited for Stone? What made your pants move when Stone played in front of you?
I think I don't think it. Well, I wouldn't have seen him play in front of me for a long time, because I didn't realize before my first Pearl Jam show, which didn't happen until I was 18.
Okay.
I didn't understand that going to see a band was something you could do.
Oh, okay.
So it was quite a big surprise that I could go see Stone. And even at that point, for Stone, I think it was the weird parts, like his parts in Given to Fly, which are very little.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he does come in with the beep, ba, boop, ba, 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 like no other musician would write that part.
Okay. So it's subtle.
It's very subtle. Yeah. He creeps in finally for the first time in the second verse with one note, just going, and you almost can't even hear it.
Got it.
But he's doing it.
And you made an awesome analogy the other day to someone like, so I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, and Slash is, 1 or 1A to me. Your comparison, when you kind of use your little
Slash
hand,
and Stone.
You said your hand puppets, like Slash is like, there he is in your face, and Stone kind of comes out of here.
Did we talk about that?
We did, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Slash is like,
did have this conversation.
Slash is like, here's everything I got, and he's got a lot.
He's got a lot
to do that with, right? And he's a very, very impressive guitar player. That said, one person can like one painting, and another person can not like the other painting, right? Not to say I dislike Slash,
totally,
just to illustrate that his style isn't my favorite. I mean, I decided yesterday that Stone is my favorite anything, so including baseball players.
Okay.
Including race car drivers. I don't have a favorite race car driver, but if I did,
If he got in the car.
No, he is my favorite guitar player, but it doesn't matter that he's a guitar player. He's my favorite doer of things.
Yeah, I would not talk you out of that.
Yeah.
That's okay. Anyone else you may speak to that has that influence on you?
For guitar wise?
Sure.
It comes and goes. So like I'll be writing myself, or I'll be appreciating, or whatever it is that I'm doing for, because those are inspired moments when you're writing. It's the same kind of inspired as when you're really appreciating, when you're listening.
Okay.
So they like come in waves. Like there's some days in a row where I just cannot believe how good Tom Morello is, and he's always that good. But it's just my perception of it
the way you're feeling at the moment.
Right? So my feet and for a short burst, my adoration of Tom Morello may eclipse my adoration of Stone, but overall, it's all Stone. So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, Mike is really a genius in these 3 spots, and I really love Mike for a few days, obviously.
Yep. Okay.
But it always comes back to Stone. To Stone.
Could we talk about practice? And what I say is sort of the toggle of quantity and quality.
Yeah.
So for example, and I'm sure most of your viewers, or lots of them, are in this boat where it's, you have kids, you have work, you have school, you have this, you have that. So you may have a half hour a day.
Yeah.
My brain says, oh, cool, what kind of video can I watch and learn how to play? And I realize that may be a illogical approach to learning how to play good guitar. In other words, perhaps there's more times where I should be running chord changes, or I should be running scales, or I should be maybe theoretically learning some things.
Yeah,
do you have any thoughts?
Don't think about that. You should do exactly what you feel like doing. Otherwise, you're not going to do it quality. Like you said, 10 minutes of really quality practice, and you can really only focus for 10 or 15 minutes. So when you do practice, 2 points here. So when you do practice, pick one thing. So what song are you working on right now?
Generally, it's probably your most recent video is the one I'm working on. So let's say a few days ago was Lightning Bolt. Okay. That was kind of the last one I had a few minutes to tinker with.
Yeah, good. So what you would want to do is pick one part out of Lightning Bolt that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, don't just say, okay, here's the 5 parts. I'm going to start with the first part, and I'm going to work on it for 30 minutes, because that's a boring way to go about things. It doesn't matter if you learn all of Lightning Bolt before you learn the next song. Learn whatever part of Lightning Bolt is the most fun for you.
Okay.
And one little spot. So if it's just the verse, which is, I would consider that one little spot, that much of it.
Yeah.
Over and over again until it sounds like it sounds.
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to do it 16 more times because it sounds like it sounds, and you're so excited, which I'm sure you've experienced that, right? Yeah. So super focused on one thing that really interests you. 10 minutes of quality practice is way more valuable than hours of, okay, here's the 10 things I have to do in order to get to my goal, which is totally just made up in your head anyways.
But that may open you up, or again, speaking for myself, that opens, I guess, me up never to sort of get that technical...
You will, though.
Yeah.
It just takes longer than you think it should.
Okay.
It just does.
It's building behind the scene, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, to your videos, to the point, what time, and everyone's going to be different, the repetition of watching a video, hitting pause, breaking it down, hearing it, replaying it, trying to replay it without hearing it. Do you have any advice, or based on your experiences?
Whatever makes sense to you.
Yeah.
I've come up with my own system for learning the songs from the thing, and it took me a little while, and I used to make more mistakes, and I still make mistakes, of course, but I used to make more before I'd figured out my thing. And for me, it's listen, try, take a guess, look up tabs. They're usually not right. Most tabs are usually not right, but sometimes they'll at least confirm or deny what I guessed.
Okay.
And then go to a video of the band playing it to just make sure the positions are correct. I wasn't totally off. Yeah. And then go back to the record and listen to it. And on YouTube you can slow down. You can play the video at 75% or 50%.
Your video? Or any video?
And it doesn't change the pitch, so I don't start speaking like the Hulk.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
It just goes slow. So then I go to the album version of the song on YouTube, and I play through the whole thing at 75%, just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Ah, okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so that's my process for figuring out a song, and that's what works for me. It might not work, but so for practicing, whatever little thing makes sense in your brain, and just sit down and start doing it. The best way to learn to do X is to go do X.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. This is a very rudimentary question.
Okay.
The strings on my guitars, you notice, have some age to them. They have child's fingerprints and then crayons inside the guitar, literally. Any advice on the maintenance of a guitar for the average guy that maybe he's not going to switch out his strings once a week or every?
Yeah. So if you break a string, it's time to change them all.
Okay.
That's it.
That's the only caveat. Always have backup.
If they're rusty and they hurt to touch, you should change them. I play all the time, and my strings probably. I mean, a real guitar player,
right?
A real musician would change them. I have a friend who went to Berkeley. One of my friends who went to Berkeley. We passed by Berkeley last night. Jeff Kallenbach. He won't see this video, but he was Jeff. Mike McCready in my Pearl Jam tribute band.
Oh, okay, cool.
And and he changes his strings because he's super like type A about it.
Yeah.
He changes his strings every week.
Okay.
Because you do.
Okay.
Because that's what you do.
Okay.
Because he's a real musician, right?
Got it. So real people do it every week. And guys
but
like
he gigs. He gigs on a regular
Yeah.
basis, right?
Yeah.
And my strings probably last like 4 months, and that's sort of embarrassing that I don't change them more often.
Sounded great.
Yeah.
May I say I got to play the Taylor, which was amazing.
Elizabeth.
The Elizabeth. Sorry,
Elizabeth.
I referred her in the proper last name.
Elizabeth the Taylor.
It's beautiful. It's a great. It sounded awesome, and it was a thrill to play it compared to the stuff I'm used to playing. Again, this wet list I'm reading off of here. When we were jamming the other night and we talked about counting, it occurred to me that I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the level and something I never learned or something I never did was count. I am an accountant.
It's ironic.
Which is ironic, and I don't know how to count and sort of keep beats in music.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the importance of that, or can you give those lessons where it's something where you say like, hey, this is how to count to 4, this is how to count to 6, and have that be something that is sort of like in your toolbox as a player?
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that I think was drilled into me at such a young age that after that I never had to think about it. So I think I don't often, it doesn't occur to me that it's something I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for bringing to my attention. What you want to do is, because it's actually really easy once you get the hang of it. This will not take you long.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to sit down and do it. It might be you're very in the back of your a little bit focused for a couple weeks, and then you'll have it like 5 minutes here and there. Because you can practice guitar in the car on the way to work.
Yeah.
For instance, doing what I'm about to tell you to do.
It's
It's practicing guitar, because what you need to learn to do is count.
Yep.
You don't need to practice guitar in that moment. There's always something you can do to practice guitar.
Okay.
For just a few minutes. You don't have to practice all day.
Yep.
But anyway, so for instance, most songs are either counted. Most songs, the majority of songs are counted in 4. Okay. So lightning bolt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And the accents change a little bit, but it's divided into 4s, not 5s.
Okay.
Not 7s.
Okay.
So that's 4. Another Jeremy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bing, bing. Then you count. You just count 4.
Yeah. 4.
Boom. 2, 3, 4. If I counted 3 and played Jeremy in my head, it would sound wrong. Dun, 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 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you already know how to count. You just don't know you know how to count. You have to connect the feeling and the knowing.
Is there a disconnect between counting and the song? For example, like what your ear is telling you you're hearing? Is that the proper way to play it, or is the proper way to learn to count the measures of those songs?
Well, it just helps to divide it up into manageable pieces, which are called measures.
Measures.
And they've been called measures since the dawn of time.
Before your time.
So that's 4. So your first exercise, your first homework, which will take you no more than 3 minutes a day, is to once a day, any song that you're listening to, try to figure out if it's in 4 or 3.
Okay.
3 would be Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town. 1, 2, 3, scene to a waltz.
Yep.
And 3 and you'll get your own sort of associations for what it feels like, but 3 sounds like this, or feels like this, and 4 sounds like...
Okay.
So you can just instantly, does it sound like this? Or does it sound like this? And then take your guess and then count it. And if it works to count with it in that number. But then you get weird stuff like, so then once you're really good at that, was that helpful?
That was helpful.
Okay, so that's it. That's your homework. 3 or 4.
Okay.
For the next, until you're comfortable, until you have 100% success rate.
Okay.
And then look it up. Go, elderly woman time signature.
Okay.
On Google, and it'll tell you.
Okay. Got it.
And 6 is the same as 3.
Got it.
So
So-
you're not wrong if
okay.
it was 6. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways,
Fair.
yeah.
That's good. That's very good. Yeah.
Oh, and then you get stuff like Low Light, which is weird, and Pearl Jam loves to do this without anybody noticing. Or Army Reserve, which switches mid-song, so like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is 4 also. Are you with me?
Yes.
And then in the and then to the chorus, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I can see it coming. And then they're right back to 1, 2, 3, 4. They didn't even change the tempo.
Okay.
They just changed what they're counting, the beats.
Okay.
That was a major shock to me because reasons why Pearl Jam is amazing,
Yes.
and other bands who do this are maybe not. No, not citing any bands in particular, but some genres are prone to trying to make songs complicated just for the sake of, which I said to you, just for the sake of making songs complicated. And you'll have metal bands write a song that switches from counting 11s to counting 7s just to do it, but it doesn't sound good.
Okay.
And you can't even tap your foot to it.
Okay.
Because it's so complicated. But Pearl Jam, nothing against metal.
Nothing.
Just this is where I see it happen more often.
Yep.
Pearl Jam does it without even noticing. For instance, Low Light, which you would probably never dawn upon you that it's got time changes in it, but Low Light goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, twice,
Yeah.
and then it just goes to 3. 1, 2, 3, clouds roll by. So there you had literally just one measure of counting 4.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the song in 3, except for when it counts 4.
And you would say like the average listener
Doesn't know.
could feel that, or
well, once you count it out,
once you slow it
then you
down.
learn how to feel it.
Okay.
It's like if you're a newborn and you don't know what a strawberry tastes like, it doesn't mean you can't taste strawberries. It just means your mom has to tell you that that thing that you just ate was a strawberry,
Yeah.
and then for the rest of your life now you can now identify the taste of
Okay.
strawberry. It's not difficult. You can do it. No, just no one's told you.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That's a good analogy. Very well.
Just came up with that.
That's brilliant. You should
Thank
record
you.
that and use it. That is all I had on my list. Anything
Awesome.
you want to talk about or ask about, or
No.
care to comment on your weekend at the Nutters?
I just want to make sure everyone can notice that we both have Kermit
we do.
coffee mugs, and this was not. I didn't bring these.
Let me
His
rotate.
wife just also loves Kermit.
It's in a strange way. So this has been, it's been a very strange weekend. This is the sugar in the coffee. This has been a strange weekend, but a wonderful
A
weekend.
wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks for a great.
Pleasure's mine, and
Thanks
we'll
for a great time.
be sure to do it again somewhere, somehow.
Here, let's cue this up. I'm going to say, because you know what they say, and then we're both going to say, never say no to a great time.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for a great time, because you know what they say.
Never say no to a great time.
Stupidest catchphrases.
Oh, no.
I don't even know where I get them.
To trademark.